So today's episode is really going to be talking about, our partnership with Texas A&M and what we did this past summer and how we're going to be, what that looks like moving forward into the next summer. And we're going to be teaching more students. And so hopefully y'all get to learn some things that these students actually paid for. And you'll get to walk away with some really cool things that they've learned, maybe talk about some strategies that they went into when starting this project, and then all the way to the completion of this project. This is an Unreal Engine image. So this is inside of a free software called Unreal Engine. They were able to find this probably as an asset pack and be able to manipulate all the different sun. I mean, they were able to put the ship in that exact spot. So this is, kind of reminds me of like a Peter Pan shot, right? We got to establish what's happening in the film. Immediately cutting to a very unique shot. One of the requirements in the film was that they had to use a robotic arm, and they had to create a very unique shot. And so they wanted to be really punchy with it. The first shot that we see, the students really wanted it to be dynamic. So by looking at that overtop shot and then spinning around and then kind of going, that took a lot of coordination from the Unreal Engine people to the robotics operator to the DP and the director. And so they had to really coordinate together to execute on this project. So taking this into a little bit more into consideration. So because this was our first shot, or one of the first shots, we had to really nail the background, because once you start filming, you got to have that continuity for the rest of the scene. So we kind of did our blocking. I'll kind of walk you through on what is real and what is not real. So this background where these lights are in the back over here, those are obviously everything behind him. All of that is not real. So we have real candles, our real globe. All of these little items are real. So the best way to tell a virtual production job that they've done a really good job is they have lots of really great foreground and midground background stuff, and that will then extend into the background. We blended these two worlds together by adding some haze, and that adds more depth into the image. I mean, look at all the detail from the golden coins that they add. They did a really great job. So, and then these ropes back here, they're kind of hard to see, but they're almost touching the wall. So, and that's really to help that layer building. The more things that are that are in focus and they get further back and further back, those images get further and further out of focus. And so that helps blend those two worlds together. So if you have just this one treasure chest, and then you have just this background, it's not going to help sell it as much. But since this quill and all these other things are slightly further out of focus, and then it kind of blends it in the background, it really helps tie all that stuff together. So setting the tone for the whole film, cutting back to those real shots. I mean, there's only a tiny bit of sliver of the LED wall, right? And that's just to keep getting that essence of it. Cutting to a different angle. The beauty of this is that we can change our angles. We could do 30 degrees and move the camera, and everything's going to stay correct, because within Unreal Engine, everything's scaled to 1:1. So if you have this person, I'm doing the opposite. If you have this person right here standing here and we move that camera in, that background's going to stay the correct scale, which is really awesome when it comes to like changing your angles and doing things really fast. All right. There was a fun gag that Rachel, she was the gaffer and the lighting department for the scene. They put some light fixtures in here to showcase and illuminate his face and make it look really exciting. But as he realizes that it's not what he expected, we lowered the light. So there was some DMX in there, so you had to control it from the iPad to be able to tell the story correctly. Because it would have been a little bit of a boring story if we weren't illuminating his face to make it exciting and then to make him upset. He's like, oh. And we had him standing in the same spot. We just rotated his body, and now that's still the LED wall back there. So there's no 80 or 90 degree turn. The camera stayed in a spot, maybe just lifted up a little bit higher, and then just rotated the Unreal Engine world around. So we're able to keep consistency and lighting and framing with only a few minutes. And so you don't even have to do this shot. We were able to get all of our wide shots on one and then come back to those other shots and then get all these directions, because it does take a little bit of a relighting in this moment. And this talent, I wish I remembered his name. He was so incredible. Like, he really played this part really well, and he was so patient with the students. All right, this was a big accomplishment for the students. This ship, you saw that the camera was moving, and then we also had our talent interacting. And then in our background, the ship was actually moving. So we had to coordinate what we call the VAD department, the virtual production department. We had to, coordinate the robotic department. We had to coordinate the director and the DP and the lighting team. All had to be working in correlation together to be able to make this shot come together. Let me cut to our talent, our female pirate. We were outside or inside the ship, and now we're outside on the ship. This one's kind of a harder shot to do. Being in a virtual environment, sometimes it's hard to simulate real sunlight. I think the students did a pretty good job at just making this feel one directional, like as if it was the sun. But the problem is when you're using an LED wall and a really, really bright light source, you have light spill on the LED wall, right? And so if this was an LED wall behind us, which is a green screen, and there was some light shining onto it, it almost acts as like when you're sitting in your house and you're looking at your TV and you see the blinds in the television and you can't unsee it. It's exactly the same thing. You start seeing the light that's splashing onto the LED wall and it ruins the movie magic, and then it's kind of baked into the image and there's no fixing it. So when having a really, really bright light source on set, it sometimes is really difficult to not get light spill onto the LED wall for you to tell the proper story.